Let's free fall. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. Let's free fall. Let's free fall.
I'm not crazy, Malin. I'm not crazy, Malin. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. 40 years.
Carpe diem. Carpe diem.
Hello? Are we live? I'm a little...
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Boom.
We good?
Okay.
Are we live? Is that what's
we're
happening
good.
right now?
We're good. Let's get this going.
Okay, hi everyone. How are we doing tonight? We're having a little bit of technical difficulties, a bit of a rush job, unfortunately. But we're here, I think, right? Okay, yeah, we've got the semifinals here for our NA PC Open Tier tournament here in the midseason. It's going to be Trailblazers versus Shikigami. Two teams, very, very good, both currently 4-0. I am joined by Dexatron tonight. How are you feeling right now?
Man, I am feeling good. And like you said, these are two very good teams. Shikigami, 12-3 map record on the season, but when you look over at Trailblazers, right now coming into this game, they only have dropped one map, and that was in the first round of this tournament. So these are two very good teams on paper, and we're going to see one of these teams get handed their first loss of the season, but it won't go...
Yeah, going in here, obviously, I think the prize for winning the tournament is an extra win on the on the record there, going into the actual like proper playoffs. And like I said earlier, this is for a spot in our NAPC Grand Finals for the Open Tier tournament. So looking forward to that. Our rosters for this match tonight are going to be for Trailblazers. We've got Realm, Veilside, Seal, Muiki, and How's Your Day for the Trailblazers. And on the other side, we've got Spiro, Wallix, Solo, Thunder, and Graveyard for Shikigami. Do you have any like insight on these players or anything like that? Or like what are you thinking going into especially our first map on Ilios?
I mean, I don't know a lot about these players, but I know that I believe Shikigami said they are a team that is trying to get into or playing in the Path to Pro, I believe, or that's what it says on their thing. Yeah, team participating in Path to Pro. So, that shows you that they are a good team, but you look at these teams, you only named 5 players. They all do have a lot of subs. Shikigami has 11 players on their team, a whole team sitting on the bench +1. And if you look at Trailblazers, they have 8. So we could see a lot of different players tonight. And that, in my opinion, means we're going to see a lot of different comps come out from these two teams. Doesn't matter it actually kind of matters what the map is. Heading into Ilios here, I mean, you have 2 sub points on Ilios that you can try for environmental kills. And you always do kind of see it come out there on Well and Lighthouse. But then once you go to Ruins, I always kind of look at that as, those long sight lines. You want to play maybe a Hitscan, a Widowmaker, a Hanzo, an Ashe. They all kind of show up there because they are really good picks on those ones here. But still, everything's going to kind of be built around the tank here. And with, Orisa still in a very good spot, even after that slight nerf. I feel like I kind of overhyped or blown out proportion yesterday. I feel like we're still going to see a lot of Orisa, but Zarya got buffed a little bit, so we might see a little bit of Zarya, maybe even a little bit of D.Va come out as well. But going back to just this first map of Ilios here, I'm still thinking we're going to see primarily Brawl, maybe a dive comp come out here.
Yeah, and speaking to that Zarya buff, if you're the only way that the buff actually helps Zarya in any way is if you're like super unselfish with your bubbles, because the buff was only to her projected barrier, not the one that she can use on herself, but the one that she can use on her teammates. And it received a really big buff, that projected barrier. 225 HP, it's bigger now, easier for the enemies to, accidentally hit it, possibly. And then I was playing with it myself, testing, I was playing, that dirty bubble that the Dallas Fuel ran last season, early on in the season, where they were playing the Zarya Reaper. I was playing the Reaper, and I had my friend running on the Zarya, and he would put the bubble onto me, and I just go into the backline, and as soon as the bubble popped, get out, give him his charge, so that he gets up to his 80 so very quickly. And I feel like if you're super coordinated with who you're going to bubble, this is how Zarya has always been, but even, especially now, I feel like if you want to run the Zarya and be unselfish with your bubbles, it can still work so very, very well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've always had a kind of soft spot for playing Zarya. I didn't like to see her out of the meta, but I could kind of understand. But now with the, like you said, the increased size and health of that projected bubble, I really do expect to see her kind of, make her way back into meta. But right now, Orisa is still probably the bread and butter for a lot of teams. A lot of survivability and honestly just a lot of good abilities to go along with just the character there. You have the spin and you have, the fortify, which can keep you alive for a while. Javelin is a good stun, which can stop a lot of ultimates in their tracks, and it is something I've seen stop a lot of ultimates already. But I mean, again, kind of focusing on the healers, because Illari is playable, and you kind of think when you're hearing that Orisa comp come out, you're going to see Illari BAP, but we've kind of seen different things yesterday, or at least I saw a couple things different yesterday. I saw Illari paired with or I believe a Moira for a little bit, and a lot of the times some teams were playing the Orisa comp without that Illari, which is kind of weird, but Illari is still a very hit or miss character in my opinion, but that might have been because of the tier that I was kind of watching yesterday. This open tier one, you might see that Illari come back out a little bit in a better force here.
Yeah, and speaking to the Iari, or the lack thereof when you're watching these Orisa comps, one thing that I have really liked seeing, and I keep talking about it, and because I think it works, I think when I've seen it go, it has looked very, very strong, is instead of, the BAP Iari, which, is a lot of stand still, poke out, stay alive, a lot of, direct healing into the Orisa to keep them alive. I really have enjoyed seeing the, instead of an Iari, a Lucio.
Mm-hmm.
For that speed, and, Orisa's still, a little less healing output with the Lucio. But if you're able to, take that initiative and keep your Orisa up, she's already survivable as will get out by herself, with that BAP, immortality field, stuff like that, with the speed. I feel like every time I've seen the Orisa Rush come out instead of the Brawl, I feel like it's just bowled over the teams that are running the Brawl, and that could just be, you know, isolated occurrences in the matches that I've seen, but I would like to see if teams are going to try the Orisa. Maybe we could see that.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're still seeing a lot of stuff come out here, especially with some buffs, some nerfs coming out. A lot of people, like I said, kind of overhyped that Orisa slight nerf she got yesterday. But just looking at the team sheets that we were provided here, we know Shikigami really does like playing I believe it was a dive comp. I'm checking here again. Yeah, their favorite comp at the moment is a dive, even though we are kind of seeing teams go away from that here. But you're starting to see dive comps come back a little bit with Diva here. High damage, can eat a lot of abilities, eat a lot of damage, absorb a lot of damage. And if you lose the mech, you can try to get a remech back in there. But it's interesting to say Diva come back into it because, with Zarya being being played a little bit more, you're kind of seeing that, back and forth come back with those two, kind of both rising up at the same time to try to counter the other out here.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and here we are, our first map here in round 2. For every round 2 match is going to be Ilios, and then our other 2 maps that are guaranteed to going to be played is going to be Hybrid and then Flashpoint. If necessary, we'll go to a push, and then map 5 would be Escort. After the first map, it is always loser picks. But here we are. We're going to get into Ilios here and see what these teams are going to rock out on.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be going to Well here first, and both teams kind of showing that dive comp here to start out for a Shikigami going with the Diva. Kind of mentioned the Diva's kind of getting a little bit of resurgence here. Not surprised to see it out here, while Trailblazer's kind of going with the more traditional dive tank of the Winston there. But you look at that DPS line, Veilside on that Ashe and Realm on the Symmetra, who will probably be swapped out maybe to a Tracer, possibly a Soldier, and I've seen that kind of Sojourn, seen that one kind of come out a couple times here, but you just want to see him get to the point fast, because no Lucio there means, oh wait, no, this is actually Lighthouse here, my bad, but you're immediately seeing some swaps come out here. Actually, Realm's going to go to Echo instead, but you already see Shikigami here does have Wall X there that can kind of count him out, especially solo as well. They can kind of go up there and try to deal with Realm.
Yeah, and you already saw it there. Seal got forced out with Solo in their face. As soon as I say that, jumping right on top of Graveyard's head, and Trailblazer starting us out so quickly. 3 kills, and they're already going to get that first point. That was a picture-perfect dive.
Yeah, it was, and honestly really all came down to the fact that Shikigami was very split off from each other. That allowed Cell to get up there and just completely eliminate Graveyard there, and it kind of just followed in the 2 other kills there. Solo and I believe Sparrow are the only ones to keep themselves alive here. Now come back to this one, no ultimate's going to be ready, but you immediately see Realm here getting a lot of damage using that beam ability pretty early.
Yeah, Wallix under a lot of pressure there, had to stay alive, got very, very low. That focusing beam is scary, but it's going to be Solo that starts us out here diving onto Muhiki. The Ana is now out of the fight here. That is no more anti, and a pretty important pick there to start us off. And Spiro going in on this backline, helping take down Seal and Veilside, and that's going to be a flip for Shikigami.
It's exactly what we saw in the first team fight there. Shikigami played it perfectly, got rid of the Ana, then you followed up there with a kill onto the tank there of Seal. Then they found, I believe it was Realm out there, but you will see Trailblazer coming back here with 1 ultimate ready to go, and that's basically it. Shikigami, though, a little bit better than that ultimate combo. We'll be able to build up 1 or 2 ultimates here, and they have that Nano ready to go, but a nice sleep on the Seal to get everything started.
Yeah, Wallex putting those legs to the test, but it's going to be Seal once again jumping on to Graveyard. Thunder is nanoed on the high ground to keep her alive. Seal will end up falling, and this is looking to be another Shikigami fight win here. Solo, though, will fall. Trailblazer's going to flip the point and pop the Kitsune Rush. How's your day? Throwing out that ultimate, probably a little bit late, but able to find the final blow onto Thunder, and they're just going to keep these staggers going.
Yeah, I'm really questioning that Kasumi rush there. I don't think they necessarily needed it. The fight was already over. They had already flipped point. You saw everyone on Shikigami kind of trying to fall back there. Shikigami, though, going to come back in this next engagement. 3 ultimates ready to go. I'm expecting them to get that rally up pretty soon, but Trailblazers has about the same 3 ultimates ready to go on their side right now. 1 DPS, 1 tank, and 1 support. So this is going to be a pretty even fight. Again, it's going to come down to whoever's finding the first pick, and that's a huge way to start it off there for Trailblazers.
Yeah, Veilside getting that perfect stick on to Wallex, and Seal was antied and slept, able to pop the Primal Rage. Just for a little bit of sustain, gonna stay alive there. Another lease on life, another 1000 HP. Able to stay up there at 80% for Trailblazers right now. Gonna see the rally come out from Thunder. So a little more sustainability for the side of Shikigami here. And speaking of Shikigami, Spearow finding Veilside in that Tracer duel. Ante up is Seal Graveyard with a great ante on to the Winston. Is that find a pick? No, not quite. But yeah, Shikigami's gonna find the flip here. Veilside? Nah, Veilside is not gonna... Spearow?
You got to give Shikigami a lot of credit there. They maybe used a couple ultimates a little bit too early there, but they were still able to find a couple picks, and that kind of led them into taking that point there. And you're looking at it right now. They already have 3 ultimates back up. Solo never used their bomb. Going to probably mostly use it as a remeching tool. Trailblazers, though, only going to have the... Okay, Veilside. Way to have the recall there. Realm, though, has his duplicate, and how's your day? Getting to be close to getting this Kitsune rush here, but I don't see it really affecting this fight, as you do see another dive on the top line, but Walex able to find Veilside.
Yeah, a dive there on to Muhiki. Able to stay alive with the help of How's Your Day, TPing back through for the peel, but it doesn't matter if the supports are there if everybody else is already dead. Nobody to heal except themselves, so I mean, we're getting into last fight territory here on Lighthouse.
Yeah, and you're seeing Shikigami here get a little bit aggressive, wanting to go closer to Trailblazer's spawn. That's actually a really good thing in my opinion. You want to try to stop him, slow him down a little bit, especially with Realm using the duplicate last fight and immediately not finding anything with it there, as I think Thunder took them out of it. Now you're going to see the dive come here on the point. Kitsune Rush and Nano both coming out, but the Nano comes out on the Realm of all people.
Yeah, Realm trying to put all that damage into somebody, but it's getting eaten up by Solo. Veilside threw out the pulse bomb, but was a little bit off target, and we're going to trade Thunder for Realm here. Solo gets demeched, but pops the bomb to get that remech back in, like you were saying earlier. Just a tool to keep it going. Nice sleep there from Muhiki to stay alive, to distract Solo, and oh my goodness. Trailblazers doesn't touch the point. Seal is staring Wallex down, and Shikigami gonna take the point here.
I guess you could almost say that is a, that famous letter number right there, because Seal definitely alive, had the Primal Rage, could have sustained it on point a little bit there, and I believe they also did have one of their supports around point that could have kept them up a little bit longer there, maybe wait for some of their team to come back there, but they just didn't. Got pretty focused in on getting rid of Wallex there on that soldier, and in the end, really ended up not working out for them there, as they never flip point. Shikigami wins that first point there. Now we had the ruins. Remember, this is, I said, that long-range sight, the long sightline kind of map. I would expect to see maybe 1 or 2 like hit scan players or hit scan characters come out here, but instead, we're really not seeing any at the moment. Symmetri's gonna come out, that both TP each side there, and you're immediately seeing them swap over here. Spearow going to the Genji, and Veilside going to a Soldier in here. So Soldier's coming out for both sides, but I don't think either of the sides necessarily expected to see the tanks coming out for either team.
Yeah, I was saying it earlier, just bubble your Reaper in, have him get out. It's a pretty effective way at getting charge, especially when you're, a little less selfish. So I assume if we see Seal, he's probably at 50 or 60 charge right now. But it's going to be Thunder, starts us out with a kill on Realm. Okay, yeah. Wallex finding the pick on to Seal through that Disruptor shot, and it's going to be Shikigami cutting through Trailblazers despite them getting that first flip here on Ruins.
Yeah, Trailblazer played for a point first, Shikigami played for team fight, and ends up working out for them in the end there. They'll pretty much even out and take the lead here very shortly, but Trailblazer able to build up a couple ultimates there. Seal, Veilside, Realm, very close to being at 50%. Sparrow, Wallix, and Graveyard. Look at Graveyard, almost having a Kasuni rush here, and that, if it's played perfectly by the DPS and the tank there for Shikigami, can easily win a team fight on its own here, especially with how aggressive Trailblazers has been in the past. You're immediately seeing it come out here.
Yeah, there is that kit rush out.
I just wanted to
It's going to be a trade, though, Sphero for Seal. Though, if I am Shikigami, I'll take that trade, a DPS for the tank, especially a fast DPS like Genji. Now disengaging is Shikigami without their Genji. They're just like, you know what? We took that trade, we won the fight, pretty much. We're going to back up and try and catch you when you come in again. And they are coming in again right now. There is Seal throwing all of their bubbles on to Realm. Now we see finally Muhiki popping their kit rush, countered by the beat by Thunder, but Solo falls before the beat comes out onto them. Trailblazer is going to get the flip.
I'm actually surprised to see Thunder use that beat there. I kind of feel like that was a little bit of a lost team fight, especially losing one of your characters before that fight kind of initiated there. And you're looking at Trailblazer right now. They have the overclock, they have the grab, they have the Death Blossom. You save that beat for one of those 3 ultimates there to try to keep your team alive through it. You use it early here. Yeah, you're coming up on 3, 4 ultimates of your own here, but I feel like now Trailblazer is in actually a really good spot. They can use a couple of these ultimates if they use them sparingly, but losing Realm early is not what you want to see if you're Trailblazers.
We see the grab come out onto Solo, but they're gonna kill Solo in the grab. I was like, is that grab gonna get anything as they went around the corner? But they're gonna find that pick on to Solo as Wallix popped the overclock. Veilside did as well, but yeah, I mean, 1 ultimate out from Trailblazers and 2 from Shikigami. You'll take that if you're Trailblazers.
I mean, Trailblazers actually used 3 ultimates in that fight. They used beat, overclock, and
did.
the grab.
Yeah.
Realm using their Death Blossom now, but not going to find anything as you see everything come out here for Shikigami.
Yeah, Shikigami popping that Kitsune rush, but unable to sustain Solo's life, and now we're headed into last fight territory here. Shikigami smartly deciding to back up there, wait for their Junker Queen to come back, but it's gonna be close.
Yeah, it's gonna be close, especially since it's a dry fight for both sides here. Muhiki can get their Kitsune up here, but that will be the only thing that could possibly be ready for either team here.
We see Veilside trying to get some value with that railgun, hits the shot but not able to find a pick. Kitsune rush out now from Muhiki. Trailblazers have that speed boost, that boost in their fire rate, and it looks like they're going to come out on top here, or they are right now. We see Veilside trying to take down Wallix, who is going to go down there. Nice from Veilside there, and it's going to be Trailblazers that takes Ruins, and we're going to a map 3 here. It's going to be decided on Lighthouse. Not Lighthouse, well.
Yeah, well. But honestly, I feel like the whole turning point of that round really came when Shikigami used that beat early there from Thunder. It was already kind of a lost fight, like I mentioned. They used it there, and yeah, it keeps some members alive, but I mentioned Trailblazers had a Blossom, had an Overclock, and had a Grab all ready to go. You are trying to save that beat for one of those things, and once that beat came out, it basically, gave Trailblazers that go sign to say, hey, we can use these ultimates now and not necessarily be punished. And while the Grab didn't necessarily find anyone off of it, it did lead to 3 kills, and Trailblazers really getting set up there. Now, as you see them coming back out here, Shikigami making some swaps here. You see the Echo Mercy coming out here for them. It's going to be really interesting to see how that does there, but Veilside and maybe Realm, Muhiki might be the only ones that can really try to shut it down, so Spira might have some free range here in the sky.
Yeah, already throwing in those shots into the cage there. Bubble out on to Realm, who was on the high ground, but Veilside, that's not going to be able to be res there for Thunder, and that's going to be a trade of Lucio for an Echo. And right now, it looks like Shikigami has control over the point, but Realm, was pushing them back. Eventually gets taken down by the Helix rocket of Wallix. And it looks like Shikigami... No, actually, you know what? It looks like nothing because nobody is winning this fight out 100%, yet Realm is almost back. Muhiki anteed up. Are they able to follow up on it? They are not.
I mean, this fight has been kind of dragging on so long here. Like you said, no one's captured point yet. Seal now getting very aggressive, now going to go in. This might be the thing that they were looking for to really get stuff started here. You find Graveyard. All you have to do is maybe get rid of Solo, but you're able to see Trailblazer, your cap point first, and now they find Solo. And this is going to lead to Shikigami falling back a little bit. And Trailblazer want to play a little bit aggressive here. Realm TPing in a little bit farther, but able to wraith themselves out of that.
Thanks for the help.
Yeah, and there we saw it. The aggression from Seal finally paying off. They're going to get the first fight and flip there. Shikigami, though, starting us out in this fight, taking down Muhiki, who did have the kit rush in the pocket. So not going to have that for this fight right now. Realm got very low, has to pop the Wraith, got bubbled. Ran away very smartly, able to stay alive there. But Spiro continuing to go on a rampage. Spiro with 3. And it's just Realm left with the Wraith gone. They're not going to be able to get away and make that Spiro with 4.
Yeah, Spiro, like I said, if they don't get shut down in the sky, they're going to basically have free reign there. Veil side, not able to find them. Actually, one of the people that Sparrow killed there. They do have that overclock ready to go, but each team coming in this next engagement with a lot of ultimates at play here. Shikigami, though, in my opinion, is kind of set up a little bit better here. They have both support ultimates, the duplicate there, and very close to a rampage. Trailblazers, if they can build up a grab and maybe find a lot of value out of that, maybe they could win this next team fight here. But we have seen early pickoffs be huge for both these teams, and Sparrow getting this now early might be able to find a quick one.
Yeah, as a counter, they're going to drop down the Kitsune Rush from Trailblazers. Velside popping the overclock, 16 HP. Very low, able to get out there. But Thunder going to pick Wallex up. Spiro falling to the focusing beam of, or finding Muhiki with the focusing beam. Realm will fall right after the Death Blossom as well, but Seal still alive and with a lot of charge, I would assume, but the dupe on to the Zarya is enough to find the grab and put Seal out of their misery.
Yeah, and like I said, I really felt like Shikigami had the better ultimates coming in that last team fight there, and you saw why there. That duplicate there from Sparrow might not have found a lot of value in it, but they were able to duplicate that Zar, get 1 kill, get the grab, and they're able to find Realm there very early, and that's going to stagger Trailblazers out here, maybe into something where they're just trying to touch the Force overtime, and with no ultimates ready for Trailblazers, other than how's your day, it's going to be a very interesting final team fight here.
Yeah, and we see Spiro just putting in so much damage from way up in that sky where nobody can really deal with him right now. It'll have to be up to Realm here, who did switch over to the Echo, but the Mercy Pocket's just proving to be too much there. The healing kept Spiro alive to take down Realm. Veilside gonna trade it out on to Graveyard, but Solo still looking very, very strong at the moment. Wallex and won't trade themselves out. But Spiro just like doing so much constantly with this Mercy Pocket. It feels like Spiro's unkillable, and that's gonna be it. Shikigami is going to take Helios.
Yeah, and it really came down to some of the swaps Trailblazers made there at the end. You saw them go away from anything that could really shut down Spiro in the sky, and their best opportunity was maybe that Echo they swapped to as well. It just didn't work out for them with the time they had. They needed to build up a duplicate fast. Did not work out for Trailblazers there. That is only their second map drop of the season so far. Both have come in this mid-season tournament here at the moment. But Shikigami, though, had looked incredible throughout this entire map. Maybe Ruins was probably the worst that we saw him there with that. Maybe you could call a little bit of an overuse of that beat there, because like I said, that kind of turned around that entire game. Really allowed Trailblazers to kind of set up, get that point, win a team fight, set up, and kind of rotate through some ultimates there, and it really worked out for them. But going back over to Well, I mean, it was a little bit of a back and forth, and you just did see like Spiro on that Echo really did not get shut down other than once, but that Echo Mercy Pocket was great for them. And we saw the Echo come out for Trailblazers there, but they did not have that Mercy with them. And you saw once they got very far past their healers, they were not able to get healed up, and it really started the downturn there for the Trailblazers at the end of that map.
Yeah, and with that, Shikigami's map win there. It's going to be Trailblazer's map pick going into map 2. It's going to be King's Row. So, I mean, maybe they want to keep going with their, going into this next map, maybe they want to run some rush, you know? I wouldn't be mad about it. I've seen some Reinhardt come out. Maybe it's not particularly meta, but I like it, and so I think they should run it.
I mean, but if you look back at that last map of the 3 tanks that Trailblazers did play, it was a Winston, a Zarya, and then a Junker Queen there at the end, and a little bit of a Diva in there as well. They found their most success with that Zarya. It really worked out well for them. And you know, you have to kind of think, you know, King's Row, Brawl map, maybe an Orisa, maybe a Zarya, maybe even a little bit of a Sigma. I feel like you could pull that out here, play a little bit of a poke. But Trailblazers, you know, this is their bounce back map. They're picking King's Row. It's been, but or you could look at the nickname, Scrims Row. It's been scrimmed to hell by probably every team. Every player has probably played King's Row more than any other map. So, I mean, Trailblazers has to feel very confident going into this one. They have to feel that whatever comp they're going to bring out here is going to be able to beat Shikigami, especially since Shikigami, they showed us an Orisa there for a little bit.
Yeah, so, I mean, I really do think that if they're going to run something on this map that's going to be Brawl or, you know, Rush-oriented, I think it probably would be, you know, either the Junker Queen or Zarya. I really did like their Zarya look with the Reaper. It worked for a little while on Ruins. I think that if you're super aligned with what, you know, your DPS, between your DPS and your tank, I think the Reaper Zarya Dirty Bubble is just, it's just so good right now. You disengage easily with the Wraith and the Bubble. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that, but you know, maybe they want to run the Orisa here. I don't know. I think that if they did want to break the Orisa back out, that it could be pretty good. Like, there's a reason that they've been so good all season. Both of these teams have been obviously very good, 4-0 for both. So I mean, they have to be flexible if they want to win, and you know, if one thing isn't working, they need to see that and say, hey, let's try something else that, you know, that might work as well.
Yeah, and you have to remember, these teams both have a lot of subs. Remember, Shikigami has 11 players on their roster. They have a whole team plus 1 on the bench, while Trailblazers has 8 people on their team. So they have 3 people that we can see, you know, kind of be subbed in here. And I said it's a map-by-map thing. We might see different people come in for different maps. King's Row, we might see more Brawl-oriented subs come in for the teams here. And, you know, when we get in game, we're going to be able to see if there are any. And that will kind of give us an idea, you know, of what kind of players these are that are on the bench right now, because they didn't start for a reason. Maybe it's because we went to Ilios first, but now as we head in, just looking at everyone here, doesn't look like we're seeing any subs for either team here, so they're pretty confident with what their starting 5 for each side here. But right now, Trailblazers gonna be defending here first, bringing out that Zarya. It worked great for them on Ilios. The 2 maps that we saw play on Ruins and Well there for a little bit, you know, worked out very well there on Ruins. Didn't really work out on Well, but Shikigami going over to a Diva. We saw Diva play the entirety of that Well map for them, and it worked out great. But bringing the Bastion out, bringing this Widowmaker out, I really do like this, because Widowmaker can get set up on this high ground, try to maybe find a pick here early, but you're immediately seeing swap it over to Hanzo instead. Okay, double sniper comp here for Shikigami. So they're okay. I'm just not gonna say anything at this point.
You know, sometimes silence is for the best, but yeah, they're gonna be running. Solo certainly isn't playing a Doomfist, right? Okay, just a little bit of scouting there. I said I wanted the Reinhardt, and we get the Reinhardt. Solo and Shikigami coming out on the Reinhardt rush, the heart of Overwatch, right here, right now. And we'll see how this is going to work against the recently buffed Zarya. And speaking of that Zarya, Seal under so much pressure, but it's going to be actually Realm that starts us off here. Finding a pick on to Wallex, that is most of Shikigami's damage now just evaporated into thin air. And we're switching over to the Sojourn now. Everybody's so very low. Shikigami just going to back out, able to do so with the help of Thunder's speed boost. Using that wall to cut off the sightline there. We'll see what they can do here.
the only reason they were able to find Wallix out there early was because of a huge anti there from Muhiki. It immediately just melted Wallix down there with some help there from Realm. And now again, a couple big antis coming out for them again, kind of forcing Shikigami here to fall back. But you're looking at their ultimates. They have the Amp Matrix ready to go. So that could be something that could engage here in this choke here and just absolutely force Trailblazer to fall back. And that's exactly what happens, but it actually comes from behind or through the hotel there.
Oh yeah, everybody, I think that was 4 people on top of Muhiki's head. Was so close to that nano boost, now no longer has that luxury in this fight right now. Seal does pop the grab, but Wallix rips Seal's head off. Veilside able to trade it back out, but this fight is looking toward Shikigami right now as Solo and Spiro continue to clean up here, and that is going to be probably Shikigami taking point A here on King's Row.
Yeah, and you're immediately seeing Trailblazers make one swap here. Seal going off the Zarya, going to the Ram, and I really do like this for Street's Phase. Street's Phase, very close contact. That Nemesis form that Ramatra has can be deadly here if it gets set up. And what the ultimates that Trailblazers has here, one good team fight win, and you can try to hold arches for a little bit, but Shikigami coming out with some ultimates as well, but Trailblazers want to be very aggressive as you see both ultimates come out for Shikigami.
And as for Trailblazers, both support ultimates coming out as well as Veilside's. They just used 4 ultimates. At least Realm and Veilside were able to find picks there, but oh my god, that was expensive.
Hugely expensive, but you know, the plus side is for them, or the only plus side is that they won the fight there. Now they can try to hold arches a little bit, but they're playing very far up. They have to know Solo does have that Shatter ready to go. Graveyard has another Amp Matrix here, and so these could be very deadly here fast. You immediately see the charge come out, get rid of Seal. How's your day out as well? So, you know, that Shatter can go off for free now if you're Shikigami, but you're probably not going to invest in this one, considering you've already taken out more than half of Trailblazers. You've won this fight. It looks like Trailblazers at this point just trying to get themselves out of this one as fast as they can. And now, after Trailblazers heavily invested into that previous fight, didn't really leave them with a lot of options there, but a quick kind of turnaround there for Shikigami. I mean, works out perfectly for them. Now they can be a little bit aggressive on Street's Phase.
Yeah, we saw Seal there trying to get aggressive on Shikigami, but once all 5 popped out of that spawn, Spiro just threw up that wall behind Seal, and those hands can't save you from all that damage, especially when there's a Bastion in your face. Both walls out now from both Mays, and it's going to be Veilside who did come back on the Bastion here, finding Solo, so they won't get to rip that Earth Shatter off here. And everybody from Shikigami is very, very low. Spiro staying alive very, very closely there. Able to get up the staircase, and wow, this is back and forth for both teams with Spiro staying alive, coming back, dropping the Blizzard Finding 3. Seal popped the Annihilation, but it's just not enough.
It's not going to be enough at all there. I mean, it was used pretty late into that engagement. Maybe they didn't see everyone on their team dying there, but they would be the last ones alive. Solo, though, been holding on to the Shatter forever at this point. Shikigami has rotated through ultimates here. You see both sides bringing Bastion out. Wallix going back to the Bastion after getting pretty much melted on their first life here, but Immortality or Amp Matrix coming out here. The Shatter does come out, but I believe their Omei blocks it.
Yeah, Shatter did come out. So did the window for Muhiki. So that is 2 pretty impactful ultimates, but Solo already 30% back to Shatter, which is, you know, one of the powers of Earth Shatter. Reinhardt can build it up very, very quickly. But how's your damn Wallix trading out there? The Blizzard out from Realm, not gonna find the value that Realm was looking for. Wallix does eventually fall, but yeah, that'll do it. Squished against the wall is Realm. Solo now trying to get aggressive here. Now window pops by Graveyard to take this, to take even more space, and we see Veilside dropping down to use that airstrike. Not finding a pick by it, but you know, you don't usually expect to find a pick with that ultimate. It's usually just a little bit of a bonus if you do. But now Shikigami dropping their own airstrike. On a Seal, finding a little bit of damage, but nobody's died yet.
No one's out yet, but you do see Beast coming out from both sides here to try to sustain everyone. How's your day? Able to find solo is a great kind of start here for Trailblazers, who desperately need something to go their way here. And you immediately see some follow-up kills that are coming out from this Annihilation. Finding some value this time for Seal there is huge, but now, I mean, they need to try to clean up this fight. They're able to find Wallix there. Now, about minute 45 left to go. You're seeing some swaps come out from Shikigami. Sparrow going over to the Hanzo. And now, I wouldn't be surprised if Wallix swaps either, but looks like they're going to stick with it here. Both teams out playing this Ramatra. And again, you know, Realm closest to an ultimate right now for Trailblazers. Shikigami is close to another amp matrix here. So again, it's really going to come down to who can find an early pick here, in my opinion. And again, I'm looking at Realm, I'm looking at Sparrow, especially going over to this Hanzo on that high ground. If they have free range up there and not being bothered, finding one headshot is going to be huge for them, but it's actually Muhiki who does that.
Yeah, that Hanzo, without the Hanzo, that high burst damage is not there anymore. The headshots will not be found. The Blizzard out from Realm. It looks like Solo was able to pop that Nemesis form, and that speed boost helped them get away from it there. Graveyard also popped the window there. Not finding much value on that ultimate either. But Spearow falls early again to a headshot from Realm this time. Wallix sitting down in the backline has the sustain from Graveyard to stay alive, but Solo does not, and in the Ramatra gap there, Solo's gonna fall. And this is looking like a pretty strong defense here. They're putting their foot down right now as Trailblazers.
Yeah, especially coming on 20 seconds right now. They're about to come up onto two ultimates. How's your day and Seal can get an ultimate pretty fast here, but Shikigami kind of a little bit away. They do have an artillery strike coming up here from Wallix, but they need to kind of build that up here. No nano will necessarily be ready by the time we reach overtime, but again, an early pickoff is huge, and I've been looking at Spear trying to find that, but it's been Spear who's getting picked off every time first, and that's huge coming out there from Trailblazers.
Yeah, both Ramatras are dead. The airstrike out from Wallix is gonna find one, but Veilside is just as good. Veilside with 2. Veilside with 3. Can Veilside get 4? Veilside gets 4! And a beautiful play by the Bastion of Trailblazers to keep them alive on King's Row.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, you gotta give Trailblazers a lot of credit there. First point, I mean, didn't necessarily look the best for them. Yeah, they found that early pickoff there on the Wallix, who was playing Bastion at the time, and it kind of did help them eat some time away there. But it just, after that, it went all kind of Shikigami there. And then Street Face kind of came up there, an ultimate coming out, or maybe a little bit of aggressive play from Trailblazers using 4 ultimates right after Shikigami capped the point there to win the first fight, send them back to spawn, but then immediately after that, losing it. And Shikigami pretty much had a pretty easy Streets phase. Then they kind of stepped it up there on third point. You saw some swaps come out, Realm and Veilside. Realm going over to the Mei, Veilside going over to that Bastion. Really did work out for them there. Shikigami had a lot of momentum, but kind of got slowed down there by Trailblazers, just kind of making those swaps, adapting to how they were playing. And now you're seeing Shikigami come out here with that Ramatra again. Worked out very well for them a while there on that attack side, and both sides actually come out with a Ramatra. So you're kind of seeing them, you know, adapt to how each are playing, maybe expecting either one to come out a little bit different. Maybe Trailblazers expecting Shikigami to come out here on that Reinhardt, since they showed that they could play it once. But again, the one time that Shikigami did play that Reinhardt, they held on to a Shatter forever, and it was actually their own Mei who kind of blocked it up from getting any value there. So again, you know, you're seeing Trailblazers come out with a Hanzo of their own here. One headshot is all you need to kind of turn this first fight. If you can find a headshot early on it, but maybe it's just a sonar error on a swap here.
Yeah, I remember back in the day when I was scrimming and I threw a sonar arrow in and the enemy team got mad at me. That was an insane thing, but what's not so insane is this match right now. It's pretty good right now. Both walls out, and it's going to be Seal that falls early here. Mubiki going to follow, and already Trailblazers on the back foot, headed back into spawn. Veilside going back to the tried and true. The Bastion has returned to the field.
Yeah, and I mean, it really, especially when you lose your tank first, you want to try to get out of the fight as fast as you can there. And you did see Muhiki fall there, but they did try their best to heal up. You already see him 50% on that amp matrix. Graveyard around the same, but right now, again, it's going to come down to these two Meis who can get a wall onto the other tank to kind of, you know, section them off. As you see, Trailblazers, you're getting very aggressive, going straight to point.
Yeah, and they have, a lot of damage to back up that aggression. But once again, Seal falls first. Wallix gets traded, so it's 1 for 1, and Seal will be back faster than Wallex. But now Realm. Oh goodness, Realm. That's unfortunate. Shoved into a corner is that May. And I mean now Shikigami looking pretty strong on the defense here. We see Spiro getting aggressive there, has the Blizzard ready to go, and Thunder drops the beat, and they're happy to just go in on that one. And not going to find any kills off of that aggression, but it is going to push Trailblazers back for just a little while longer. Trailblazers did get a tick.
Again, wondering why the beat came out there, but Blizzard coming out there from Spiro will not actually find anyone here, but Solo gets frozen there and immediately taken out, and now Trailblazers have this advantage here. Shikigami down their tank for the first time, and now you're starting to see them cap point, and will probably end up taking it here, but Shikigami wants to try to get as much time off this time bank as they can, but able to find Thunder there. You see Sparrow there as well, ice blocking to try to, just get a little more time off. Muhiki able to take care of them, and Wallex as well. So first point capped here for them here, and you have to give Trailblazers some credit there. They only used that Blizzard there. That was all they needed. Shikigami used a Blizzard. They apparently used their Annihilation that last fight as well and found nothing with it. Thunder, again, maybe using a beat a little bit too early there. You used it in that previous team fight to Trailblazers capping it, and it immediately led to Trailblazers knowing that, hey, there's no beat, there's going to be no sustain, no shields that Shikigami will get, and they got really aggressive off that. Big thing here for Trailblazers, they still have their Annihilation. That could be huge for them going into this one.
And we see the window coming out from Graveyard, able to dodge, a couple of those airstrikes from Veil side. Wallex coming up to this high ground, which there is not very much of on this point, but it doesn't matter because Realm is just going to put an icicle into Wallex's skull, and that overclock is gone just like that. And now Trailblazers is going to be happy to be aggressive here. Okay, what? I don't know, man. Solo very, very low, had those hands up for a long time. But in the face of a Bastion, they can't keep you alive forever. Now we're going to see Annihilation out from Seal, Beat out from How's Your Day, and Blizzard out from Realm. But you know what? I guess at the end of the day, they captured the point.
Yeah, maybe a couple ultimates that didn't need to be used there, but like you said, end of the day, they cap point, 4 minutes on the clock now. You only have to push it about 58 meters to win the map. You could easily build up some more ultimates here, but you're really worried about Shikigami being able to build up ultimates and kind of rotate through them and be smart with their ultimate places. That's what really, kind of saved Trailblazers here when they were on defense at this point. But now, I mean, you're close to an artillery strike there from Veil side. Shikigami, though, coming up on 4 ultimates, they can slowly start to just rotate through, but Muhiki able to find Graveyard there is huge.
Call that a bap gap. Seal and I mean, they're just doing work right now. I mean, Spiro able to find the pick on to Muhiki. A beautiful Blizzard by the May. But I think Trailblazers is going to be happy to just continue to get this meterage going. And okay, yeah, Graveyard popped the window, and maybe just a little bit too early.
And that was definitely a situation there where you lost both your healers. If I was Trailblazers, I would have been backing out of that one. Yeah, you got a little bit of a more cart push there, but that kind of plays into Shikigami's hands. Now they have all this kind of space here. You see some ultimates coming out here from Trailblazers off the Ant Matrix, and they're immediately able to find Sparrow, who had swapped over to the Junkrat.
Yeah, a rat flying through the air. You don't like to see that, especially if you're Shikigami, I guess, because he got picked out. But Wallex found a pick on to Realm, and then on to Muhiki. That is the Baptiste gone, and How's Your Day dropped the beat. And now, I mean, that was pretty expensive for Trailblazers, despite going down 2 immediately. How's Your Day probably throwing in a beat that didn't need to be used.
Yeah, again, we've seen some questionable beats here tonight, and that is definitely, again, another one there. Shikigami has both their support nodes coming up in this next fight. I mean, the time bank already kind of cut in half here for Trailblazers. Yeah, you're coming up on your tank and your DPS ultimates, but, holding on to that beat might have been huge. Maybe something that wins this next team fight here. But again, you're seeing the overclock come in first. Wallex on that high ground, trying to melt down Veilside, not going to be able to.
Yeah, the Immortality Field keeping that Bastion alive. And the overclock does end up fading away without finding a pick. But Spiro building up to a Riptire, and I don't know if Muhiki has Immortality Field back. So we'll see what's gonna happen here. But it's gonna be Veilside that starts it out onto Wallex. The tire doesn't find the pick. Immortality field out, but it wouldn't have hit the where the tire blew up anyway. Seal very, very low, but the one who took him out goes down immediately. And now it's just Thunder there, and with the Blizzard, I mean, Wallex able to come back onto the point, but Muhiki putting in so much work right there at the end as the Trailblazers are going to take King's Row.
Yeah, and this was a good bounce back map for Trailblazers here. It really kind of looked like on their defensive round that maybe Trailblazers had kind of, you know, maybe not picked the best map here to go against Shikigami, but that 3rd point defense was huge for them. Stopping them was the best thing that could have happened to them. 2nd point, again, kind of struggle for both sides here. Basically 1 or 2 team fights and done, but Trailblazers, that 4-minute time bank really did allow them to kind of have a lot more time there to, you know, use some ultimates, build them back up. But that tire there at the end there from Sparrow needed to find at least 1 or 2 to slow down that fight there from Trailblazers. It just didn't, and you kind of saw Trailblazers. Once that tire went out, they knew they had a lot more range to play very close to each other there and just go in and get the kills they needed to. They immediately popped the Annihilation, and you saw what that did. It forced everyone on Shikigami to go away from the cart, and that really helped them win that final fight there and the map.
Yeah, and then I feel like Spiro and crap, it was no, I'm looking at the wrong roster, damn. But the Bastion from the side of Trailblazers, it looked like they just could not find a way to deal with all of that damage from the side of Trailblazers. And then Realm looked great on that May, was able to consistently cut off those sight lines and land some really great headshots with those icicles. And I mean, they picked this map and they showed why they did, and they evened up the series. Our next map is going to be on a Flashpoint, but we're not going to know about that until we come back, because we are going to head to a break here. So stick around, you won't want to miss this because it's been an absolute banger of a match.
have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna try, but you
All right, welcome back, everybody. We've got a series on our hands: Trailblazers and Shikigami, 1-1. So what are you thinking right now, Dex? Going into Servasa?
I mean, over that little bit of prolonged break there, again, sorry about that, some technical difficulties on our side here. I mean, me and you talked about, necessarily what we have been seeing from both these teams here, and we kind of really agreed on a lot of stuff. Some of it being, the Lucios maybe not necessarily using their beats really in good situations, using them towards the end of fights, not having them find the most value here. Some players absolutely popping off, and me and you kind of talked for a little bit about, and what do we want necessarily to see improve from both these teams? And I feel like we kind of just came to the conclusion that both these teams are actually playing very good at the moment. Yeah, there's very, small things you would like to see improve. Maybe some players step up a little bit, but really no comps have necessarily not worked for any of the teams that we have, for either of the teams we've seen tonight.
Yeah, I mean, both teams, mistakes happen. You like to see. At the end of the day, I think this match is going to come down who makes the least mistakes, because we've seen some costly ones, some beats gone off the rails, some ultimates when you don't really need them. So the first team that gets straightened out and figures out how to get their ult cycling down pat and gets it going is going to be the one that wins. But as far as the next map, we are headed to Flashpoint. It's going to be the more popular of the two. Thus far, as Dex and I have seen anyway, it's going to be Servasa. And we were talking about it a little bit during our break. Usually on these Flashpoint maps, speed kills. Mm-hmm. It's what you need.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. You have to kind of play rush, maybe a dive. You have to play fast comps here. If you play slow comps, you're really only giving yourself about 1-2 team fights, maybe, if you lose the initial point cap there to try to retake it. If you play rush, even if you lose a fight quickly, you can get back there, maybe you can test it 2-3 times here. But I mean, you really need to play fast here, like you said there, Fletch. Speed kills. I really do expect to see some Lucios come out here. But in the past, especially yesterday in the match that I casted, I saw a Moira on an Ana come out here on Flashpoint. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they come out with. I am fully expecting both sides to try to run a rush comp here, and that is exactly what we're seeing. Actually, hell, it's a mirror match down to the T here.
Yeah, a little bit of Jotes action, replacing the break with the carry from both sides. That cleanse obviously going to help a lot with when the Junker Queen decides to press Q and ante everybody up. Going to help out a lot with that. And as far as the other support, the Lucio, I mean, you need the speed, and we're going to get going here on Servasa. And as always, the first point is going to be meeting right in the middle on Market.
Yeah, you see both teams here or at least Shikigami is going straight to point. Trailblazers wants to kind of, go around, maybe try to catch them off on an angle here, but Shikigami got to be able to kind of, get ready on point, force Trailblazers to come to them here, and that might actually work out for Shikigami's side here. But if Trailblazers can finally pick off first here, maybe onto one of the supports there of Thunder or Graveyard, it might really work out for them. But Solo actually getting incredibly low, has to use a shot to keep himself alive.
You could say Solo was so low. But no, it's going to be the first flip towards Trailblazers. They're going to have control of this area for the time being, but Seal getting pulled in by Solo. Not looking great for Solo, who's just getting chunked down left and right. Cannot afford to stay in. Now it's Solo and Seal down on that low ground. Both Junker Queens have fallen. So now it's up to the other four of both these teams to keep it going.
And you immediately saw what they kind of did to both teams. The Trailblazers maybe trying to want to back out there. Shikigami went straight to the point, and they forced that fight there on point. You're immediately seeing what's happening there. Trailblazers trying to hold on to this point as long as they can, because that percentage builds up really fast here. And they're able to kind of stagger themselves out here. 70%. That's really good for them. Basically, you win one team fight, you might be able to win this first point here. Trailblazers, though, only really coming up on a beat here. Shikigami will have both their support ultimates and both their DPS ultimates pretty fast here. So Shikigami in a really good spot right now to try to hold on to this point here for maybe the entirety of this first point.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to see how they use these support ultimates right now as Graveyard throws out the Kitsune Rush. But Trailblazers, intelligently, they're just gonna back out around the corner, kite that Kit Rush, as they have one of their own here. Now Spiro popping Blade, and unfortunately we're going to see a pause here from the side of Trailblazers as Spiro pops that Dragon Blade. So, I mean, you saw the Kit Rush come out from Shikigami, didn't find any kind of value. Trailblazers able to get around and run away from it, then come back through another door and pop their own. So, you know, it's looking like they're in a good spot right now with Shikigami stuck in the middle of their own Kitsune Rush.
Yeah, I mean, but, you know, again, we're getting that pause there. It was Seal who was asking for it, the tank there. They did have their Rampage ready to go. So, you know, something up there with Seal, maybe someone else on the team was kind of disconnecting or having some problems there. So coming back in, especially if one disconnects, you know, they're already going to be down one, as I believe they have to kind of go back to spawn if they disconnect from the series here or the map. But, I mean, Trailblazers played that perfectly. Waited for that Kitsune Rush to come out. Shikigami used it very early. Now they respond back with their own Kitsune Rush to try to get something going here. You're seeing the Blade, though, come out there from Shikigami, and they're actually in a very good spot there to take care of some of those, you know, more squishy targets, those supports there for Trailblazers. Really close to where that Blade was popped, and especially if the Suzu was used maybe before that Kitsune Rush came out there, you could see it. You could see that Blade turn into 2 kills pretty fast there, find both those supports, and that, in my opinion, would pretty much lock up the first point here for Shikigami.
And the unfortunate thing is that when we do come back, it was actually Seal that disconnected. So when we do come back, Trailblazers is going to be down not only their Junker Queen, but their Rampage as a whole. I think they were 70 or 80% to Rampage right there, but unfortunately, you know, it happens. The technical issues, they just happen sometimes, and I mean, it's going to be up to Trailblazers to try and figure out how to overcome it, right? But,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and I mean, like, they had Rampage ready. I believe both Junker Queens had their Rampage ready. So, in my opinion, like I said, this Blade might be able to kind of clean up Trailblazers here on this first point. Maybe give it over to Shikigami. But heading on to the second point here, we don't know which one will be. Rampages should be ready for both sides, and I believe that could be, you know, 2 great fight stars, especially if one team's able to get set up on that point there first, because you might see dueling Rampages come out trying to see what they can get. And it's going to be really interesting to see how teams play around it, because that Rampage can be huge, but both teams do have a Kiriko that can immediately use the Stu's there, try to cleanse as many people as they possibly can, but if they miss 1 or 2, it could be devastating for their team.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be an advantage to Shikigami. I'm looking at the screenshot that we have as soon as the game did pause. Solo was only 70% to Rampage, actually.
Oh.
So, not going to have that, and unfortunately, as I said earlier, Seal no longer in the game, no longer going to have that ult charge. But I mean, it's still a heavy advantage towards Solo on the Junker Queen.
Yes.
They did use both of their support ults, though, from the side of Trailblazers right at the when they used they got that pause. So, I mean, it's gonna hurt when we come back. Unfortunately, Seal's internet did go out, so we will see if and when Seal is going to be able to come back here. I don't know. You'll have to excuse me. I don't know exactly what the rules are here. If they can sub somebody in the middle of the map, or if, you know, they have to give up the map. But hopefully we can get this figured out and sorted out very, very soon.
Yeah, hopefully. But I mean, at the moment right now, Shikigami in a really good spot. They have ultimates to play with here coming back in. They are currently using a Blade. And like you said, Trailblazers had to use both their support ultimates right there to, you know, engage into that fight. So the Blade might already kind of be canceled out there, but without their tank, I mean, you're immediately going to see them kind of go by the wayside here. Maybe find one pick, maybe even get a couple hero plays coming out there and might be able to actually turn this fight in their favor. However, I think until we know what's going on with the teams, we're just going to take a quick break.
Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours.
Alright everybody, sorry for the continued issues, but we are back. We are going to head back into the map very, very soon. Seal has returned. Unfortunately, as we were saying earlier, no longer has the Rampage in the pocket. No longer has either support ults. We are mid-fight right now. The Dragon Blade did just get popped by Spearow, so we'll see what's going to happen here during this fight. If okay, well, Veilside is dead. That's unfortunate for Trailblazers, but it looks like Shikigami is going to take this fight, and that'll get them really, really close to taking the point as a whole.
Yeah, and at this point, I mean, Trailblazers are going to be coming back into this one here. If they want to try to contest they can, but it doesn't look like they're really at a point two. They are getting speed boosted back in. This looks like they want to try to kick the fight back here to point. That's exactly what they're going to do, is starting everything off with the overclock here from Vale side.
Yeah, we see Overclock come out, but beat countered by Thunder. Wallex coming out with their own Overclock. Both Sojourns are no longer in the fight, but a headshot from the Graveyard sending Realm to the namesake. I mean, that's gonna be the point to Shikigami, and you know that's the danger of trying to re-engage on these fights, and you know it's the balance that you have to look for on these Flashpoint maps. Is, are you going to re-engage on the points which go up so fast, or are you just gonna give it up and regroup and try and fight on the next point? And the next point is going to be Palace.
Yeah, and if you're Trailblazer, you use some ultimates, but the only plus side there, you force Shikigami to use some ultimates as well there to try to counter your guys' attack there, or your late attack. But Graveyard coming up on the Kitsune Rush here might use it early here to try to win a team fight before point even opens here. But you're seeing Shikigami take control of the point here now, finally starting to open here. And, you know, that Kitsune Rush, only thing currently available right now for Shikigami, and they're going to use it here to get started off.
Yeah, they use it, but Wallex is going to find two great picks for the Sojourn. They do end up falling, and Shikigami, with just the use of that Kitsune Rush, they're gonna take Palace. Gonna take the first flip.
Yeah, and honestly, like I said, that Kitsune Rush there from Graveyard was probably all they really needed to invest into that team fight. It was the only ultimate ready for either side, and, you know, the speed that the Kitsune Rush gives everyone on Shikigami there kind of, you know, led to that team fight being quickly done there. Now Trailblazers come back in here. They're going to have a Kitsune Rush of their own. Steel might be able to build up a Rampage here, but you're seeing Sparrow start off with a Blade.
Yeah, great Blade taking down Vale side. It's only one pick, but sometimes that's all you need. As Sparrow's going to clean up How's Your Day. And, I mean, Shikigami looking very, very strong here on Servasa.
Yeah, and honestly, you know, one ultimate use each fight here for Shikigami has been all they really need. They're coming up on a beat, coming up on a rampage of their own here, but Trailblazer is going to come up on a couple ultimates here, maybe 4 coming up into this next team fight here. Muhiki going to have to use this Kitsune Rush early, in my opinion, try to get them on the point. Don't force the fight off outside of point, because if you guys get caught off there and find one of your members down early, that's already a point going over to Shikigami here, but you're seeing the fight here start as the beat comes out from Thunder.
Yeah, the beat is in response to Muhiki's Kitsune Rush. Are they going to be able to find a pick? Oh my god! 3 people hit by the Rampage of Seal. And the only one to fall from the side of Trailblazers is going to be How's Your Day. And they're finally gonna be able to get a flip here on Palace.
Yeah, and honestly, it was Seal watching that Kariko there for Shikigami there. They used the Suzu. They knew they had their open ability right there. Took it to perfection. Finding 3 there. Immediately finding Graveyard right after getting rid of Solo. But now Shikigami can come back in with a rampage of their own here. And it's going to be really up to Muhiki and How's Your Day to try to support everyone. But How's Your Day having that beat might be able to sustain them through a rampage here. And an overclock from Wallet.
Dragon Plate coming out from Realm. The Rampage out from Solo hits 2, but How's Your Day is happy to press Q to counter that ultimate. The beat coming in clutch, able to keep the team alive. Realm so low, but kept alive by Seal's shout as Solo careens off the map, as do the rest of Shikigami. And if you're going to be that way, I believe that you're going to do the latter, or the opposite of what Trailblazers did on the first point, and they're probably just going to take this and rotate to the next one, which looks like it's going to be a northern one. Maybe which one? Let's see. Where are these teams? Where are these teams going? I think it's Ruins.
Yeah, it looks like they're heading to Ruins here, but yeah, like you said, Shikigami played that one smart there. They decided just to kind of rotate back away from the fight, maybe try to bait out something there from Trailblazer with Sparrow getting, you know, a little bit in there using that dash, but now they're coming up on a Kitsune, a Overclock, and a Blade of their own here, and really, Trailblazer, all they have is a Kitsune here, so Shikigami has a huge advantage here, and they're already using their Kitsune Rush to get everything started. They want to find another early team fight like they did on point 2.
I mean, it's just an issue, like, this is the second time that Graveyard has used the Kitsune Rush that early and not been able to find any kind of value with it because Trailblazer just kites it. they're able to win out eventually, but it's not because of the Kitsune Rush. It's the heroics of Solo and Wallex that find those picks. And I mean, they're out that really big tool. But as is Trailblazers, Muhiki did end up popping their own Kitsune Rush.
Yeah, and honestly, Trailblazers, that was probably the worst thing that could have happened for them. And Shikigami, though, they've used the Kitsune Rush early in the last 2 points. Second point worked out perfect for them. They easily won a team fight before the point was open, have the first point there. Didn't have the same success there with Kitsune Rush this last time, but they were able to still cap point first. And Wallex already finding one there with their overclock.
Yeah, and if you can win this fight with just the overclock, that is perfect. I mean, the one pick is all you need sometimes. And yeah, it looks like Trailblazers just trying to play safe, waiting for their Kiriko to come back before they re-engage. And I believe Muhiki is back in, and Trailblazers are ready to roll here back onto this point. Spiro taken so very low, has to back out. Solo has the Rampage ready, but Graveyard throwing in those knives, able to take down Veil side, the Rampage. I did not see who it hit, but it did come out. Thunder's Deep to sustain through this point. Looks like it's going to come out good enough, as they are going to take Ruins.
Yeah, that was one thing I was watching, that both Junk Queens had their Rampage ready to go, but both got countered out there by some Suzus from each of the Kirikos there. So great plays coming out from the Kirikos there to make sure that the Rampages were pretty much null and void. Now it looks like, with where they're all going, it looks like Shikigami actually has the perfect opportunity here to set up on point again as it's heading to Temple.
Yeah, that's very lucky, because it could have been you know, one of those further ones down south where Trailblazers would have had that chance to set up early. But such a fast rotation from Shikigami right after they capture the point has them controlling the area around the point, and they'll probably get this first flip early. Here we see another early Kitsune Rush from Graveyard as Veilside pops the overclock. See if these ultimates can provide any kind of value to their teams. The Kitsune Rush has faded, as has the overclock, and it's going to be Realm that falls first here. The Genji is gone, and I thought that was going off the map, but Spiro's blade is big as Muhiki drops another Kitsune Rush so late in the fight that it's almost worthless.
And yeah, in the end, it is basically worthless there. But, you know, you could say the same thing about Graveyard's Kitsune Rush this time. Not necessarily finding any value there. You saw Trailblazers kind of hiding around the point there. But in the end, it was Shikigami having that control of the point. And now they're going to come back into this next engagement. Almost 3 ultimates ready to go. Trailblazers really only going to have 2. So Shikigami, right now, if they play this smart, are in position right now to win this map and go on the series point.
Yeah, and you see them playing safe, Trailblazers on the outside of this map, and the engagement from Seal forces out the beat of Thunder, which prompts How's Your Day to drop their own, and the Rampage from Solo did not find a target, unfortunately. Overclock popped by Shikigami as well. You'll have to excuse me, I can neither see nor hear, but it's gonna look like Trailblazers taking the point here. A really expensive fight from the side of Shikigami, and you know, a couple of ultimates popped by Trailblazers as well.
Yeah, it looks like the Blade and the Beat came out there for Trailblazers. Probably will turn that fight around for them here, but Shikigami used almost all their ultimates ready to go. Graveyard coming up on a Kitsune Rush here, and we have seen them use them pretty early in team fights in the past. I imagine we're going to see that here again, but there's really no ultimate for them to counter or to kind of combo it with. Trailblazers, though, does have a good 2 ultimates, almost 3 ultimates here, and they can kind of use, again, just everything's flipped here. Trailblazers can now kind of hold this point and try to force a point 5, but you're seeing everything come out here for Shikigami.
Oh my goodness, that's How's Your Day! Finding the early pick onto Wallex by dropping them off the map. How's Your Day getting a little bit overzealous there. Gets picked off, and it's 2 for 2 right now, as Thunder got a little bit low herself. Able to stay up there though. Seal has the Rampage locked and loaded, but may not even need it here to secure the point, as it is just Thunder and Wallex left to defend this point, and we are going to a 5th point here, I believe it's
It should
going
be
to be
Garden.
Garden.
Yeah, it should be Garden. And again, Shikigami has this little bit of the spawn advantage here. Trailblazers, even winning that last point, add a little bit of a disadvantage. You're seeing Shikigami here, maybe trying to even kind of block the doors here for Trailblazer. The Trailblazers does have a couple ultimates here. They have that Rampage and Overclock ready to go here. But again, as long as there's a Kuriko on field, those Rampages can pretty much be null and void if they hit enough people here. Shikigami, though, setting up on point, has a blade. They're close to a Rampage of their own, close to a beat. But here comes the Overclock from Veilside.
Yeah, Overclock pops by Veilside, as does Spiro drop the Dragon Blade. And it's going to find 2 there. Realm with a pick onto Graveyard on the way out. But it just doesn't matter because the rest of the Trailblazers had already fallen so quickly.
Yeah, and Spiro has been doing very good lately with these blades, able to find 1 or 2 kills, really turning team fights for their team early. And again, Shikigami using ultimates early in engagements before the point opens has been kind of their bread and butter this entire Flashpoint map. Hitting the map, or point 5 here, final point, already up to 30%, and now you see it up here. 3 ultimates ready to go. Trailblazers bound to come up on 3-4 ultimates right now, so, again, early pin up here will be huge, but you're seeing the blade come out from Realm.
Rampage gonna be good for 4 from both. Actually, both Rampages got used, but Solos ended up coming up bigger. Through the beat of Thunder, Seal's Rampage hit 3 people, but they couldn't clean up on it.
Yeah, heavily invested fight there from both sides. Shikigami had to use 3 ultimates. Trailblazers used 2 there. So they're coming up on 2 ultimates right now. Both their supports here. Shikigami will have a Kitsune Rush of their own. They're using it early. Again, I like this from Graveyard. Wanted to get it early. Maybe kind of force Trailblazers away from the point, but you're seeing it kind of counter out there by their own Kitsune Rush.
Yeah, both Kit Rushes dropped by both teams, and it's going to be a trade Thunder for Steel. But now the rest of Trailblazers is looking very worse for wear at the moment. You see the chaotic playstyle of the Junker Queen. But they got the flip, but I just don't think it's gonna matter.
And
you see the Wrecking Ball from Steel come back.
Yeah, you're seeing desperation swaps coming out here from Trailblazers right now. They're just trying to hold on this point as long as they can. Hope that some reinforcements can get here in time.
They will not, as Solo finds the final blow onto Veilside, and that is going to be Shikigami taking Servasa.
Yeah, and again, you have to remember, this is Trailblazers' only 3rd map dropped of this season right now. And again, Shikigami, but now on Series Point, 1 map went away from going to the grand finals of this mid-season tournament right now. And Shikigami has, in my opinion, looked like the better team all night. Kings Row, they had a couple mistakes there towards the end that kind of gave Trailblazers that momentum they needed to actually even the series up heading into our first break there. But, I mean, some unfortunate happened to Trailblazers that round. The disconnect there from Seal. If that doesn't happen, maybe that first point kind of turns around. It goes in favor of Trailblazers, and we could be talking about a completely different game at this point. Maybe Trailblazers coming out on top, going on to Series Point here. But I feel like that was a good map, a map that Shikigami desperately needed to kind of just get their confidence back a little bit. And you kind of saw it throughout that fight there, or throughout that entire round. You saw a couple early ultimates come out, and I would say more than not, they actually worked out for them. The Kitsune Rushes were huge for them. I believe it came out 4 times early in fights there, or at least points before they opened up, and I believe it only really failed once, so about a 75% success rate for them. I feel like that's a very good success rate for those.
Yeah, I mean, and good stuff to Shikigami for taking their map pick, but this time it's going to be Trailblazers map pick, and they're going to we're going to go to Esperanza. It's going to be push here, and as far as push maps go, Esperanza, I feel like, is one of the most flexible maps of the 3. You can run just about whatever you want to on this map, whether it's a Sigma Poke and Orisa Brawl, Zarya, Diva, Winston. I feel like it all has its place on this map, so maybe they're trying to just, do what they can to stay in this series. And keep themselves alive in this tournament.
Yeah, and you have to look back at what has worked for Trailblazers. Zarya, the Junker Queen has worked a little bit for them as well. Ramatra worked for them greatly on King's Row. And like you said, this flexibility of Esperanza does kind of play into their hands. But again, because it's such a flexible map, it also kind of plays into Shikigami's hands. And I'm going to say the exact same thing that I said going into King's Row. Trailblazers picking this map because they 100% feel confident that they can win it here. And again, no subs coming out from either side. That's something that I'm still kind of surprised by. Each team does have a number of subs. Trailblazers 3, Shikigami has 6 subs that they could bring in at any point, and we haven't seen them throughout the night. I was maybe expecting by this point that we would have seen some map-specific subs come in, but no, each team kind of wants to stick with that starting 5, and I don't blame them. The starting 5, you know, outside of a couple questionable ultimates from some Lucios, they have looked great. And right now, you're seeing Junker Queens come out from both sides. The only difference between the two is one support and one DPS. You're seeing, okay, now no supports and one DPS is the only difference. You have Rail side on that Ashe and Wallix on the Soldier in here. In my opinion, for Trailblazers, you're looking to land some dynamites, get a lot of dot damage, get a lot of burn damage, and try to confirm some of those kills. Wallix, though, that disrupting shot will kind of force Trailblazers to maybe play around it a little bit, maybe catch someone off guard.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of difference here, but once again, we are going to get into it right here on the bot. Realm and the rest of Trailblazers taking that early positioning on the robot. Spiro got taken pretty low by the dynamite in probably a shot from Veil side, but able to get around the corner, stay alive in the sights of the Ashe player. The dynamite comes back out onto Solo. Veil side already 40% to Bob here. So very, very low, but it's going to be Realm that dashes through Solo to start us off here, and it's a 2-for-2 trade thus far, but Trailblazers still has their tank, and Shikigami does not. So if they want to win this fight, Shikigami, they're going to need to pull something out. It's not looking the best right now. These supports are putting in a lot of healing on to Spiro, who is doing their best to hold the line, but the rest of Trailblazers, I mean, they're not looking to push in just yet, waiting for their teammates to come back. Spiro has dashed back out and has held the line long enough for the rest of Shikigami to come back, and all of that feeding and all of that healing for Shikigami has gotten Graveyard. The Kitsune rush early here. I mean, this could be big, but it's gonna fade away soon, and they're gonna have the Rampage. It's gonna 0 because of Kiriko. But Solo gonna finally find a pick onto Seal, and that is probably going to put the nail in the coffin for Trailblazers in this fight as Spiro cleans up 2, and Realm on the way out wants 1. But yeah, it's going to be Shikigami taking the first fight, and you know, that was the kind of fight you expect to see early in Coliseo, not on Esperanza.
Yeah, you look at the time break there, about a minute and a half already gone there. Both Kiriko's able to build up an ultimate there. Trailblazers still holding on to theirs. Both Lucio's able to build up beats as well. Both use them there. Solo not being able to build that Rampage here actually kind of helps them a little bit. They're going to be able to build up in this next team fight here and maybe use it very early. See the blade come out from Realm instead, and they're desperately looking for anything here.
Yeah, thrown away after the dash. Spiro being kept alive just barely by Thunder's song there through the dynamite burn. But I mean, Shikigami is playing a little bit safer around this Kitsune rush, which is really, really smart, because, you know, around that pillar, it's just something that you can do, is just get away from it, because they put it around the backside. And Spiro starting us out here onto Muhiki, Graveyard with a headshot onto Seal, Wallx popping the overclock and popping heads, and that's going to be Shikigami. They're probably going to be able to hit Butt Scratch here.
Yeah, and if not, they're going to be really close to it. But again, this kind of all goes back to that first team fight there. They lost their tank, they lost one of their DPS, those 2 supports, and Sparrow right there, able to keep themselves alive. They minimized the amount of distance that Trailblazers was able to push, and it really did work out for them there. And now you're starting to see why. They're going to be able to get to this first Butt Scratch here, get those forward spawn. Trailblazers now doesn't really have any ultimates here. Shikigami has 2, 3. They can easily, you know, use one here and just try to win a team fight off of that, build up some of their other ultimates here. I'm looking for an early Kitsune rush here from Graveyard, and that's exactly what happens.
Trademark Kitsune rush from Graveyard, helping the rest of the team put Trailblazers down here and push into the spawn. It's just a Lucio and a Sojourn left alive. And I mean, this is looking very, very strong push for Shikigami, and Spear just dashes through Realm, does get traded out, so it's going to be Trailblazers who has the advantage coming in here without Spearow in, and it's going to be Shikigami backing up onto the staircase, onto the high ground, where they're looking to control the sideline.
But still, look at the ultimate Shikigami has. They have a Rampage, they have a beat here. They could easily commit right back in this, especially Solo finding Ruiki out there. No Suzu now, no kind of stop there for that Rampage. You see it come out, you see it hit 2 people. Not able to find the kills there, but you're now seeing Shikigami come back and be very aggressive.
Yeah, Walex still looking very, very strong on this Sojourn, able to find the pick onto Realm right at the end there. Seal has the Rampage once again. So,
yeah.
We'll
Yeah, and this time Trailblazers need to try to find something here. They cannot lose a Muhiki right now, who is very low, but they have ultimates here. They're about to come up on all 5. Finding Walex out here early is huge, but you immediately see the blade come out here from Sparrow, find Bellside.
And Seal popped the Rampage, but it only hit Solo, who got very low, cleaned up by the Dragon Blade, which finds 2, but it's just not enough, because, oh, well, and, you know, as I say that, everybody has died from Shikigami except for Thunder, who does get knifed in and will eventually fall, I assume. And hopefully for Trailblazers with just over 4 minutes left here, hopefully they can finally get their footing here with, you know, a little bit of an ult advantage.
But you look at the deficit right now, 100 meters for them here. They do have the ultimate advantage, but Walex has been able to be a Deadeye with this overclock Graveyard coming up on a Kitsune rush. We have seen them be very aggressive with those in the past. I would not be surprised if once they get it and they see all of Trailblazers, they immediately pop it. But you're seeing actually Trailblazers pop their Kitsune rush here early. They have to find a kill off this. If they don't find anything off it, you're going to immediately see Shikigami pop their own.
No, you see what happened is that Kitsune rush went straight into the front wall of the clock tower. So not going to get that value out of the Kid Rush from Luigi, unfortunately, but Veilstone popping the overclock, gonna find Walex, and how's your day gonna be able to put down the Genji, and finally Trailblazers, after that first long fight, finally going to get the bot moving.
Ultimates have kind of evened out after that fight there. I mean, both Kitsune Rush came out there, and like I said, Graveyard was going to pop theirs immediately after Muhiki's kind of dissipated there, and that's exactly what happened. But the overclock there from Veil really worked out well there, because you saw Shikigami that get very aggressive. That allowed Veil to have a lot of free range. But coming in this next engagement here, watch out for both Rampage if they're able to build, but an early pickoff from either side could be devastating for the other side here. Trailblazers desperately trying to find Walex here, but Walex able to slide away and get the support there by Thunder. But how's your day falls?
Yeah, that's so tragic, as the Rampage comes out from Solo, probably, you know, looking for something more than that, I guess. But, you know, celebratory spin there as they're going to take the fight there. Seal getting up to 90% to their own Rampage, so hopefully they can find something, but Thunder has the beat ready to go.
Thunder has a beat ready to go here. Steel does have that Rampage, like you said, but again, this is something that Solo's done really good throughout the night. Whenever Muhiki dies on that Kiriko and they have that Rampage ready to go, they immediately use it. There's no Suzu, there's no other follow-up there, because they know that beat was used from How's Your Day there, and they were able not to find a lot of kills with it, but did force Trailblazers to fall back there.
The Rampage did come out from Seal, gets cleansed by a couple of people, countered out by the beat of Thunder. So you see the Dragon Blade popped by Spearow. Gonna find some picks there, and once again, as many of these fights have gone, all 5 Trailblazers die, and only 1 from Shikigami goes down.
Yeah, and right now, Shikigami back in control of this card. Going to extend their lead here a little bit. Trailblazers do not have the same ultimate economy they had last time in this situation, but they do have a couple ultimates that they can use here. Shikigami, the closest thing they are to is a Katsuni Rush here. I don't see them using it the same that they did the last couple times. They're going to let Trailblazers take control of this bot for a little bit, but you immediately see them actually use it, but the blade comes out here from Realm, and it needs to be huge this time.
They're gonna dash and slash through Whalex, but Graveyard able to find the trade, but not after Veilside had already killed their own Genji, and the bot is running back towards that blue barrier. Seal getting pretty aggressive here, trying to build back, and Veilside popping the overclock. Maybe not gonna find anything as the entirety of Shikigami able to get out of Veilside sightlines. But now we're seeing that Shikigami is all back and ready to fight here. You're going to see the Kids Rush coming out from Muhiki. Are they going to be able to find anything here? Or once again, do Shikigami be able to kite the ultimate again, which they do. Veilside eventually able to take down Spiro, but it's looking like it could work here. So Shikigami slowly but surely are getting willed away, and it's going to finally be a butt scratch here for Trailblazers. Down 60 meters though, with only 15 seconds to go.
Yeah, at this point, every fight here for Trailblazers is final fight. You cannot lose another fight if you want to try to keep this series alive right now. But Shikigami coming up on 4 or 5 ultimates right now. Trailblazers, that beat has to be huge here. You have to be able to sustain the Rampage and the Blade from Sparrow, because they have been huge in the past here. But now, again, it's going to be prolonged team fights here. And you're going to see something get popped here early. It's going to be Whalex and then Overclock.
Yeah, Spiro, or Realm, sorry, able to dash out. But as soon as Zeal pokes the head around the corner, their head gets popped, and it's a big Rampage by Solo. Hits 4 people, and that will be it. Shikigami has locked in their spot in our PC Open Tier Grand Finals of our mid-season tournament.
Yeah, and you saw Shikigami really want to end that fight here and now. They had 4 ultimates. They used all 4 ultimates there. Did start with the Overclock, but then they used the beat, the Katsuni Rush, and the Blade, and the Rampage there to just clean it up. All those ultimates there could not necessarily be stopped by that beat. The only thing Trailblazers had there, so Shikigami played that perfectly, had that ultimate economy there at the end, like I talked about, and it was going to be really rough for Trailblazers to, overcome that. But if they're going to be able to survive that, then everything kind of flips into their favor, because they're going to come up on ultimates. But just the deficit there for Trailblazers was probably the biggest thing. Over 100 meters they had to push back, and then you saw Shikigami push the cart all the way back to where they had stopped and get a little bit more meters there. So it really did hurt them there in the end. But again, I feel like the biggest play of Esperanza there was actually that first team fight. The Genji and the 2 supports there for Shikigami being able to stay alive against the entirety of Trailblazers, allowing them to have their tank and their other DPS come back in, use some ultimates early, force some ultimates out from Trailblazers, and pick up the kills, pick up the team fight there. That really kind of put the momentum for that map in their favor, and we never necessarily saw Trailblazers get it back.
Yeah, and once again, if we could get a look at our map set here, it's going to be Shikigami taking the series 3-1, the only map they dropped on King's Row. All of them, though, except for, I guess, Esperanza, were really, really close, though. So if I'm Trailblazers, obviously, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season for this team, and I think that they could do great things as they take their first loss of the season. But that's going to do it for us here tonight. On CGL 1, that is. Here, as soon as we are done, we are going to throw it to CGL 2, and thank you to Barcode for the raid of about 100 viewers for this match. So thank you to her. And yeah, we're gonna throw it to our other stream here. You'll have to excuse me, I don't exactly know who's playing on that stream at the moment. But yeah, you won't want to miss that. I guarantee it's a good match going on, so stick around, and we'll see y'all the next time.